Hey everybody, welcome to Houdini Hangout. It is the last stream of the month. We'll be taking a little break coming up, but tonight we're going to be looking at some motion operators, some MOPs nodes, and should be a pretty fun time. Going to have it be a little bit more open tonight, and hopefully we'll have maybe you just have some cool and faster paced questions and things like that. And if it turns out that we don't have a lot of comments or questions, I've got some ideas as well that we can maybe go on to, but much rather hear from you guys, have more of a conversation in that regard. Also tonight, we should hopefully have things fixed on Twitch, so the stream should be much smoother there. Hey KG, hey Nathan, welcome to the stream. Hopefully if you would prefer to watch on great. Sounds good. Thanks, Johan. If you prefer to watch on Twitch, the quality should be fixed over there. It looks like the last couple streams we had some issues with some stuttering and weirdness and stuff like that. I think someone mentioned it during the stream and it slipped my mind. And then someone from Side Effects actually mentioned it. They were like, hey, just so you know, on Twitch, your thing looks all crazy. And I was like, oh, okay, take a look at it. So, yeah, weird streaming issues. The internet always finds a way to break itself or to just randomly stop working. So, hopefully this time, we will be good for a while. Hopefully we won't have any issues. So yeah, hope you're all doing well out there. Like I said, this will be our last stream of the month. I'll be heading to overseas for a little bit to do some school visits and just a short little bit of visiting with some family. And so I will not be on until November rolls around. So cool. Wow, we'll say Bess. Hey from Kosovo. Wow. Well, welcome to the stream. Thanks for watching. Offline uploads on YouTube. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, just glad that people are finding everything helpful, and yeah, we'll keep going for sure. No reason to stop. So, one thing I wanted to mention too before we dive too far into everything, but our friend Mark Fancher, he just released a couple of YouTube videos. Oh boy. Oh man. Hopefully that wasn't blasting your ears. Hopefully. So Mark Fancher has a couple of tutorials that he's doing here that he's going to be releasing. They're these MFX modules for Houdini. So he's got this mapped transition one going first here. So take a look at these. I think they'll be really cool. I know they're a little smaller. Maybe that's a little better. So these MFX modules are going to be like ways for him to kind of break down his processes and things like that he maybe makes comments on more often. And he was like, I can just point people here and then allow them to be able to kind of get this information in one place instead of adding it to a bunch of different tutorials over and over. So should be really cool. So shout out to Mark. He just released those today. And yeah, so hopefully that will be really helpful to anybody watching. So let's see, what is his... I think this would work. Let's see here. That's the link. I don't know if that's going to work in Restream or not, or if that'll come through, but that's the link to his channel. So if you'd like to go check it out, please do. And yeah, so just a little thing that I saw today that I thought would be probably pretty good. I don't know what's in there, but Mark is such a great teacher and really awesome. Oh, cool. Awesome, Apoxia. Oh yeah, you work with Mark. Mark's great. So tell him awesome job as always, and I can't wait to actually sit down and kind of check out what he's teaching in there. But yeah, should be some good stuff. Hopefully there'll be some real gems in there. I think they're going to be like releasing like slowly over the next like couple of like weeks or days. I don't know. Thanks, man. Thanks. But should be some gold in there. So check that out. Okay. So I guess that's pretty much it. That's all I've got to update, I guess, for the stream. But, as always, I always try to make it a point to say, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please put them in the chat. Always like to be able to respond to those things as they come up, as you're thinking about them. There's no such thing as a dumb question here. I'm certainly not like the expert on Houdini. Just somebody who really enjoys, sharing what I know and learning from others and things like that. So, that's always kind of the idea here, is that no question is a dumb one, or no comment is a dumb one. So always welcome in the chat, or comments afterwards. If you're not able to watch it live, throw comments in underneath the video. I try to read them all, as soon as I can, as soon as my phone or whatever alerts me to their presence, and I'll try to go in and check them out. But yeah, so tonight, if you guys have any questions about MOPs specifically, sure, Henry, come at me with your dumb comments. I mean, I guess there could be, but I'm not going to label them as a dumb comment. I welcome comments, I guess, or questions. I guess questions, maybe comments. There could be some dumb comments, but questions, there's no dumb questions. I guess I'm being too broad. So if you guys have any questions or thoughts for tonight that you would like to kind of explore and play around with, that's certainly, anything's on the table for this evening. I don't really have like this, grand plan for what we're going to be working on. So feel free to drop some questions in the chat, and we'll kind of work through them and kind of get in there and get, working with some of the motion operators nodes. The one thing that if I do have some ideas if nobody has any questions, which I hope people do, that'd be nice. But if not, I have some ideas as well. So yeah, feel free. Yeah, MOPS Monday, man, Johan. We've got a MOPS Monday, and that's the idea. So if you have any questions about doing like motion graphics type things, whether it's simulation or just doing effects with geometry and things like that, that's kind of what the idea is today. We've been doing these MOPS Mondays for a couple weeks now, I think, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks. And so, that's what we've been doing is MOPS Mondays, as the title of the stream says. So yeah, drop your questions in the chat, and we'll kind of go through those and see what we can get into. So I'll give you guys all a second to formulate questions and thoughts, and feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm actually, while you guys are writing this, I'm going to, I think I'm going to load up one of the example files that is in MOPS, and if we don't get anything, I think I'm going to try to sort of rebuild it and explain through it as best I can as we kind of work through it. It's something that Henry has a video of online, but I thought was really cool, and I personally just want to play with it as well. So, so we'll do that if nobody has any questions. So cool, Nathan, welcome. Well, yeah, no, it's great. So if it is if you are kind of just learning what MOPs are and what they can do, the idea is to kind of emulate some of the processes that work in Cinema 4D, right? So that's kind of the basic idea of the MOPS tool set, if you will, is to emulate, workflows that people are used to in some of these other programs that we've worked in this case, Cinema 4D mainly, and bring those into Houdini and allow for some workflows, in Houdini that would otherwise take a little bit more time to set up and are very simple in some other programs. So let's see here. I'm just going to, I think this is the one. Oh, yes. Yeah, we could definitely talk about that a little bit as well. Yes. So let me switch over to my other screen here, and we can kind of show a little bit about what this is. So if we go to, let's see, I'll switch over to this. Oh, by the way, if you want to join the Discord, feel free to go to Houdini Hangout. There's a Discord invite there. So this is MOPs. There's two different parts of MOPs. There's just standard MOPs, and then there's MOPs Plus. MOPs Plus is a paid add-on for MOPs, and so what we, basically it adds in a lot of things for simulation, like within the actual dynamics simulations in Houdini in the DOPS network, and allows you to manage things in there as well, fall offs and applying attributes and things like that. And so you can certainly get that here, and there's a free version to kind of play around with it at first. It kind of this is basically a way to do a lot of like cloner like. Oh, cool. Awesome. Welcome. That's great. Good to hear. Oh yeah, sure. Probably the best place if you want to send a video, is to drop those in the Discord, in the live chat for Discord. So yeah, Epoxia, for sure. You can drop some videos in there and we can take a look at them and see what we can recreate from that. Happy to do that. So just as an example of what you can sort of do with, with MOPs, we'll just do like the really basic stuff just so you can see it for those of you that might not be familiar with it while people are sending me some things. I should probably open my Discord, huh? All right, Discord is open. Great. So we've got stuff like this. Let's see, we'll just do pig head and we'll do a toy. And let's do a squab, sure, whatever. So you can take all of these, you can do a MOPS instancer. We can drag, shift click these all into here. These are going to this MOPS instancer is basically works like a cloner would in, C4D or whatever. That's also very similar to a copy to points. You can do these things with copy to points as well if you wanted to. However, in this case, it's more, we can do maybe a little bit more with it. So what we can do here is we can do fixed size, or we can do a fixed number here in the grid, and we can move them out like this. So we'll give them a little more distance between them. So there's all of our grid of objects, and what we can do is set different fall offs with this, right? So we can do things like shape fall off, MOPS shape fall off, and here we can do things like spherical fall off, and we'll make that a little bit bigger. And I guess we could maybe add a few more here. Maybe like that. There's our fall off, and then we can do a I'll just do it here. MOPS modifier, and we could do something like a transform modifier. And this is, probably the most simple thing you could do, but we'll just translate them up a little bit. And then as we move around, our fall off here, you'll see that these are going to obviously move around and adjust and things like that. So, this is a way that you can do some of these fall off MoGraph type things quickly and easily in here. So that is kind of what it is that we're looking at. Oh, cool. Okay. We got a little video here from Epoxia. Ooh, that's fun. That is a fun one. Yeah, let's see if we can't get that to work. So, Yeah, let me open that up here. Let's see, open link. How can I do this best? Yeah, I'll just download it, then I can open it that way. All right, here's what Epoxia sent me. So let's take a look at this and see if we can't take a little stab at something like this. There we go. Look at that. I love this. Henry's in there. So so what we're looking at here is yeah, so what Henry is saying is that you could set this up for some sort of a, you could set up a rig basically with it and then use a fall off to kind of animate that, right? So I think what he's saying is start with it unfurled, then we would roll it up, I believe, and then basically animate that. We'd set the rig up and then unroll it. I think that's what Henry's suggesting there, if I am understanding him correctly, and we can kind of play around with that a little bit. So let me get out of here. That's way too simple. And let's do geo here, and we'll do let's see. Unrolling. I don't know. What do we even call this? Ribbon? I don't know. All right, we'll do that. And let's go in here. And so let's do this. I mean, there's always a million different ways of doing things. So let's do a curve. Let's do maybe just a Bezier curve in here. And we can just, well, actually, we don't even probably need a Bezier curve. We could just do a line here. Let's do a line. And we can do this in whatever direction we want to. I'll just do it in X. Oops. Zooming out here. And let's grab this. Add a few more points in here, maybe something like that. So what we need to do is obviously turn this into a KineFX rig, right? So what we can do here is we can do something like a sweep. Let's just do that first. Backbone curves. Let's do a yeah, we could just do a ribbon like that. Cool. And oh, there's an extra point at the end there. That's weird. Let's do something like this. And I think if we do a B-spline here. Hello? Could probably do something like that ish. I'm just going to resample this because that'll be our backbone there that we'll use. So we'll do something a little more like that. Maybe we'll just adjust that like so. Sorry, not the greatest modeler in the world here, but just gonna do this as quick as I can. Cool. All right, so we've got this, and that gives us a little bit more resolution, but ultimately we'll just have like a rig like this. Maybe only 25. We'll try that. We'll see how that goes. And so let's do a we could do a labs thicken here just to give it a little extra thickness. We'll do it in both directions. We'll say maybe like that. We've got a little piece. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just make this a little bigger here. Cool. Something like that. I don't know. That should work. And then let's do a biharmonic, joint capture biharmonic. All right, so we'll grab the rest, the rest geometry here. Slide this over. The capture pose will be like that. This will also be there. What is this mad about here? Ah, yes. Need to make it into a skeleton first, obviously. We could just do a rig doctor, I guess. That's probably the easiest way to do this, or one of the easiest ways to do this. There we go. That was weird. Okay, so we've got our rig here. We'll initialize the transforms, reorient those to child so they're facing in the right direction, and then from here we can use this, I believe, to do what we want it to. There we go. Cool. We've got our joints captured. Now, why is that looking so smooth like that? Let's see. Okay. Let's just see here. We'll do a deform. We'll do a joint deform. Just set this up to make sure it's looking like it's sort of working here. Let's do a rig pose. That goes over here. And let's just see how this works. Eey, yikes. Not great. What am I doing wrong here? Maybe this mesh. Do I have like multiple points in certain spots? No. Interesting. It's weird. I'm trying to remember the Michael Goldfarb, who's been on the video, this channel before, has was really, yeah, I could probably do it before the thicken too. That's not too bad, but okay, let's just not do the thicken, and then we can give it a shot that way. Oh, I don't know if the biharmonic will actually work with that. I have a feeling it won't, because this wants to let's see, uniform, no, exact. I don't think there's an easy way to do it with this. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's just do a joint capture proximity instead. Might just be a little thin for it. Let's see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's see if this works. Yeah, that's working a little better, but that's still not right. Ugh, I hate this. Joint. Let's go back to the biharmonic. Just double check. Make sure I'm not doing something super dumb here. Might be. think embed should be the one that would work here. Capture lines. I am not familiar with that method, Henry. I'm sorry. Guess I'm striking out on this one pretty heavily. Capture lines. Do you mean branching off from the center rig? Capture lines. I'm not familiar with that method. Sorry guys, this is going worse than I would have hoped this evening. I've definitely seen people do this before, so I guess I'm a little confused as to why this isn't working. Oh, okay. Bone capture lines, tet conform. Okay. So is it like that, I guess? Because that's a polygon mesh. Oh, geez. Sorry, guys. I don't do a ton of rigging, so I don't know this stuff as well as I should. My bad. I'm trying to think what the best way of going about this would be. Oh. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. That's weird. That didn't come over. Cool. All right. So not using that one, but using the bone capture by harmonic. That's interesting. I'm not sure what attribute he's deleting, but I'll put it in there to delete something. Bone capture lines. Okay. So then this goes in here. Oh, okay. Capture attributes, gotcha. So I guess it's like that, but that doesn't seem to be working. That's interesting. Didn't I do something like this already? This is so I'm sorry. So like it's funny because I've watched someone do exactly this and I haven't. This is like nothing that I've done before, so I'm just trying to understand. Sorry. Well, this one will have to probably be one that we come back to as far as this goes. I'm sure there's other ways we could do that effect too. I feel very silly right now, so let's maybe try something a little bit different here. All right. Let's think. Yeah, you could use a bend for sure. I'm just trying to think of a way to do it actually with like the motion operators tools and things like that. For sure, if you had a thicken like this, you could take that and do a bend of some sort on it. I don't think... The only problem here is going to be that when you bend this, obviously you're bending it like that, and you'd have to probably rotate this a little bit more, right, to get it to go around a bunch, and you would need to set the capture direction slightly off. Let's see here. And you'd want to not just limit the deformation to capture region. I'm doing that the wrong direction, sorry. There we go. So you could do something like that and obviously have it roll out, right? I mean, certainly that would. Welcome. Yeah, welcome back to the um, yeah, no problem. No problem, Epoxy. I mean, it's a great question. And I feel really dumb for not, uh, having a better answer for that. And I know Henry knows how to do it. But I'm going to have to figure that one out for me because I'm not a rigger and, don't do a lot with that stuff. So, yeah, obviously you can do some of this stuff this way, but, yeah, for sure this would be a little bit of a different method and would certainly not be as flexible. I'm sure Henry's frantically or is going to send me something at some point to show me how brain dead I'm being right now. But that is the nature of doing this live. So let's just leave that for right now. That's such a great example that I'm like really bummed that I'm just totally butchering it. But it is a great example and I really like that effect. It's very fun. So I'll have to look at that and maybe come back to that in the future where we can actually come up with something reasonable and do it justice. Why is that selected? There we go. All right. Let's, I guess, just kind of move along and see if we don't have another maybe question that I could hopefully answer. Maybe not. Maybe I won't be able to answer anybody's questions tonight, but I'll sure give it a shot. So if anybody else has any other questions or thoughts, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll try to work through them. The one thing... Well, this is just going to bother me till the end of the day. Anyways, so yeah, if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'd be happy to answer them and kind of be able to hopefully get some decent results on the stream tonight. I'm just going to play around with this a little bit. Anybody else got any questions for fun for the stream this evening? I mean, I'd prefer for it to be MOPS related, but I guess it could be any question. I really would like to do some MOPS content tonight. That was my plan. But if it's something else, I guess we could maybe take a look at it. But yeah, do MoGraphy stuff. That sounds great. I'd love to see any other thing. Maybe we can come up with a little bit of a better setup here, and then this won't be such a disaster. Yeah, feel free to go into the Discord and ooh, cool. Ooh, these are fun. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of these here and see if we can't do a little bit of this stuff here. So that's kind of cool. Little bit of just a simple little thing here with some spheres going back and forth and kind of rolling and things like that. So let's give that a shot. That seems like that could be a cool little. Oops, that could be a cool little. Just gonna make that red because that's a disaster. All right, so geo. Yep. So what Henry is suggesting there is basically making an animated instance, and then using MOPs delay for the copies. So what we could do there is, yeah, let's just give that a shot. So let's do geo rolling spheres and go in here. We'll do just a simple sphere. I'll do just some colors just to make it look good, so we can see kind of what's going on. Obviously, this could be any attribute, but we'll just do kind of like an orange maybe on one side. I'll just oh wait, actually, we'll just say at p.y, not comma y, p.y greater than 0. And we'll do this as a point attribute. Points, there we go. And we'll do this actually as a primitive attribute. That should be better. And then we can just leave it like that, I guess. That'll be easy enough. So, all right, so we've got that. Let's do a transform. And we can do this. Let's see. We'll just do a simple sign on this here. So let's translate it in Z. So we'll just right click on this, do a motion effects with a wave on that. And then this is just going to set it to go back and forth like that. Oh, we've got that ghosting in there. That's not great. And let's just give this a little longer period here. Maybe we'll do 4. No, actually, yeah, we don't even need to do the whole thing. Let's do it this way, and we can give it, yeah, so we can just do it to 1. Let's go a little faster than that. We'll do 2.5. Should be able to get this to, yep, 61. So we'll set it like that, 61, and that should be kind of a looping. Just make sure that looks like it's looping. Yep, it does. Make the sphere a little bit smaller. Maybe something like that. And then let's see. Could probably link the rotation there too. I think that would probably work. It's going to be some sort of pi related function here. Let's think. Let me think about how this would work. So if we take this, copy the parameter, rotate, paste relative references, and let's just say thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yes, be heading off to the UK tomorrow. So let's do this times, I don't know. We'll just see if we can get something here just to kind of, all right, let's do it by 360 and see. Oh, that's the wrong one. Channels, paste. Let's see. Wow, that worked kind of shockingly well. Okay, cool. Wasn't expecting that to work so well, but hey, I'm not going to argue too much with it. It's probably a little off, but hey, it'll do the job. So okay, so we've got our transform there, and let's write out a ROP with this. So let's do a geo ROP. We'll get a BGO sequence of this. We'll call this rolling sphere. And then we will write this out. Let's just say, we'll call it rolling sphere cache. All right, let's save that to disk. BGO sequence. Get out of there. Okay, so we've got this sequence saved. And so what Henry was saying is that probably your best way of doing something like this that's delayed would be to take that and then load that in as instances and then time shifting them, right? So that's kind of what we're gonna do here. So we're gonna take our BGO sequence, use a MOPs delay, and that should be able to kind of create what we're looking for here. So all right, so I think what we want to do here is do a file node. Yes, I think so. And then we're going to, oh, what? Why did that save out? Oh, I just rendered current frame. Render frame range, save that to disk. Cool. I said I didn't save out the whole. Well, so in this case, I think what it is that I think the reason that Henry is suggesting that is that we're going to use this as a Henry also put that in the chat. Crappy roll up Toadstorm. Nice. Very good. Thank you, sir. All right. So for this, we would do. I think like that is what we'd want. There's our path on disk. Yep. Right. I think we tried doing that the first time I did this series with a so what Toad's saying is basically that the caching allows it to be a much more stable thing. So we have this now loading in off of disk. You can see right here that we've got these. Yeah, so we've got this, and now what we can do is we can do something like we can do a MOPs instancer, I believe, at this point. And we could, duplicate them and let's just do it with I'll do them like that. Give them a little space. And so now we should see these all rolling, but why are they jumping back? That is my question. Unless, do we not want to do it through here maybe? Got it. Where is that? Where is that looping behavior? There it is. I see. Right down here. I see it. So we've got 61. Got it. Thank you, sir. There we go. Okay, so then we would do a delay. MOPs delay here. And, oh, sorry, we'd also need a fall off of some sort. So we could do, we'll just do a shape fall off. That's probably fine. So we'll do a shape. That's not the right one. MOPs fall off. We'll do a shape fall off here. And we can just set it up to be linear. And let's see, we'll just rotate it like so. And then, let's see, do sequence delay. Right. So this is, delaying it based on the time, and it is also not long enough. So let me make this just a little longer here. And so we've got our sequence delay, and we can change this. We could change it to 1 second here. And in this case, what I'll do is actually adjust the overall length of this back to 240. They should keep going like that. We'll get a nice little looping behavior here. Oh, we are getting a little stutter there. Why is it stuttering just a little bit? Maybe I need to do one less frame than that. So maybe it's 1 to 60. Yeah, that must be what it was. Went one too many frames. That's okay. So there we go. Now we've got these things rolling back and forth. They are doing that delay, and we could obviously affect this differently. We could do it with probably some spherical delay here. I'm going to shrink that down, right? So we could do it like this, where the middle ones are delaying. We could, I believe we could kind of animate this if we wanted to, and they would respond to that, and we could, it probably would work okay, but it's a little weird because it is a solver here. So you probably don't want it to change too much, or else you're going to get some really weird behavior with this, because the delay is actually solving these to kind of push them back in time. So hopefully that makes some sense what we're doing there. Basically, we're caching these out to disk. We're reading them back in as a Pactus primitive that allows us to be able to kind of have this path created here that it's loading from, and this gives it a frame number. Then we've got our instancer to set up our cycling method here, the frame options and everything. Doing our shape fall off, we could do this here with whatever shape we want, linear, whatever shape we might be interested in doing. And then our fall off will specifically drive the delay timing here. So that now is just a linear delay across those like that. And you can see we basically have the exact same kind of animation that we'd be doing there. So yeah, that's kind of a fun little way of being able to do something like that, where we have an animation that's delayed between each and every one of them, and kind of slowly rotating based on how far they are down that fall off. And obviously, if you adjusted the delay amount here to something like 2 seconds, we're going to have a more delay between the beginning and the end. And you're actually going to start seeing these sine wave patterns actually come back out, because we're delaying this sine wave that's moving in this Z axis here. So yeah, that would be basically how that works. So hopefully that all makes sense and is good. let's take a look at this file that Henry sent over to me, and we'll see if we can't sort out a little bit of what I was doing before, because I'd like to kind of set the record straight a little bit on that and be able to get us in a better spot. All right, so where is that? There it is. I like that you named it Crappy Rollup, Henry, because clearly my rollup is much crappier than yours is if it's working. So, yeah, I think crappy is very relative at this point. Thanks for bailing me out, too. Appreciate that. There's rolling up. Cool. Okay. That's why it earns the crappy prefix. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. See, the thing that I'm really confused about is that I actually watched, and you guys don't know Michael Goldfarb that well, but Henry, I watched Goldfarb talking about this, and he did it with the other thing that I was using. So that's why I'm super confused about why this isn't working. He didn't do this, so that's why my brain's a little bit like, what's going on here? Right. So we've got the TED embed here. That's driving the biharmonic. What is this doing here? Okay. Okay, so we have this. Okay. Yeah, interesting. So there's the roll-up behavior, which makes sense because we're using the shape fall off in the rig transform. And the weights are, yes, I see what you're saying. The weights are not great, but that's okay. At least it's sort of working. Cool. And what we could do here is, let's see here. I mean, like, I think this would almost be kind of a similar. Yeah. So what we're I'm not sure exactly the point of what's going on here, but I feel like you want to have the scale of these larger or something, like, because it's like, I don't know. That's just me. I don't really know. But I feel like having these bigger would be better. Oh yes, enlarging the mesh. That's right. Remember something about that. Actually, let's go back to this here. Sorry. My brain is just remembering something, and I wonder if I don't know if that gets us there, but anyways. Nope, doesn't look like it does, but that's okay. Just figured I'd give it a shot because I remember that being a thing. Nope, yep, that looks horrible. Okay, so let's do what we're kind of setting up here. So we've got this similar setup. We've got the bone capture lines, the TED embed, and then the bone capture biharmonic. Cool. All right. Let's do this. We'll hopefully get this working. Cool. All right. So back in here, I'll get rid of this. Give that a little more thickness like so. All right. So what we did was we had the line, bone capture lines, TED embed. So let's do that. So we're going to grab a bone capture lines here. tet embed. I think I was using a tet conform, which makes sense why it was not working properly. All right, so now we have tetrahedron, so that's cool. And then we do the bone capture by harmonic, I believe, from there. Skin geometry, capture geometry. Looking a little nicer. Maybe that's part of it, the iterations. Not sure. And just to double check what you had wired in there. Yeah, just rig doctor. Okay, cool. Great. So if we just wire these guys in like so, this over here. Couldn't you create a plane using 2 of those rigged lines? Yes. I don't know what the benefit of that would be. I'm not sure what you're saying with that, Apoxia, sorry. Yeah, you could make 2 lines. I know you threw a fuse in here. I'm just going to do it too. Why not? Yeah, look at those weights. That does not seem right to me. I do not understand what's going on here, why this looks so janky. Huh. I mean, it could just be how I'm making this, but that doesn't seem to be right. I'm just going to do less points. That is really strange. I think I'm doing everything that is the same as what you're doing, Henry. Let's go back here, clear that. Yeah, not great. Not great. I don't know what it is that I'm doing wrong here. Anyways. Oh, I see what you're saying. Smooth stop works on capture weights. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see. It's just funny. That looks exactly like the proximity one does now. It's weird. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Capturing lower res proxy geo and then transferring the weights to the target geo. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to keep going too far with this. Henry, if you don't mind, I'm going to just send that. I'm going to upload that file along with it, and everybody can take a look at that, the one that you had done, because it's working, and I don't know why mine isn't working the same way. Kind of seems a little strange to me, but I mean, yours is clearly working just fine. So maybe it's something I'm doing. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like there's much. So as long as you're cool with that, I'll be happy to share that with everybody else, and they can take a look at this file here with the actual fall off rolling up animation. And then I think you would basically just do the same kind of effect that we were doing there before. You could do this whole effect like that. And you could also, let's see, you probably would want to maybe have like a secondary fall off that would make, do another transform or something like that. And it would, maybe just roll down part of this here, and you could just animate that as well, and have that all go, unrolling like that. So, yeah, it seems like this solution works fine, and it's basically showing how that would work. It's the capture weights, which, like I said, I'm not a rigger, so yeah, I have to bug Michael Goldfarb about that a little more, and just see what the heck I'm doing wrong here. He literally has a course about this that I watched, so feels really silly. You disable the transform stop in there and do a second fall off rig transform. Okay. Disable this transform. Oh yeah. Does look a little nicer, doesn't it? And then do a second fall off rig transform. I'm guessing you mean for, where did those go? I'm guessing you mean for the little flip down here. You could probably just do something like, let's see So let's do, make that a little shorter. Grab another rig transform. And yep, that's working. Cool. And then if we wanted to do this, and this one I'm just going to name just give it a different name so it works on this here. And you could certainly just blend that in like that if you wanted to, however you want to do it, like that. And Cool. So now you could animate this going back like that. Loop. Just like so. And you could probably do a little rig spring modifier here. And let's see if we can't get a nice little animation out of that. Oh, wait a second. Why is it doing that? Why is it doing that? Reset. Oh, okay. Right. So let's just animate this. Start like that. Maybe give it. To there. And I actually think I'm going to make that linear. I think that'll be better. And then let's see how this works. We should be getting some... let's see. Why is that? That probably won't work. Why is that not working? Gosh, I'm always... Yeah, well, whatever. We're getting somewhere with it, I guess. Well, regardless, this is working, so that's cool. The spring is not really going to work maybe so well in that situation, but we've got a nice little unrolling animation there that we can set up. So I'm going to put this along with the other file, and you'll be able to take a look at it. Yeah, I mean, it's something. It's not, I guess it's, 20 minutes of work, so nothing too crazy, nothing too exciting. But yeah, it's getting there. So it's really more about the weights of the transformations and things like that. Obviously, if you dialed in that animation, and you could do the same thing we were just doing with the other ball rolling, right? So you could do something like that over here, where you would use a delay and be able to kind of make it delay across it. You could do something like that. I think you could also... No, that would work because this is just rotating back and forth. So this animation is just cycling. And so if you had an animation that played straight through, it wouldn't cycle. And so therefore it would just stop. So that would be something you could do as well. I think even in here under the instancer, yeah, I think you could do a clamp, and that'll probably stop it from... Actually, I could just try that real quick. I have a feeling that'll just go once and then stop. That's my guess. Yep, just like that. So if you wanted it to go once and stop, you could do it like that with, that unrolling animation, kind of use those two things in conjunction as such. So that's interesting. Mirror. How does that work? Oh, that's kind of cool. Some fun little effects to do here. Boom. Bounce and then go back and bounce again. It's kind of cool. So simple things you can do once you've got this little rolling sphere cache. And yeah, you could, you could tweak this animation to do a whole bunch of different things. So this is just obviously rolling back and forth. You could do just about, whatever with it. So let's take a look at this one and see if we can't get this going. So I just got a less crappy version of this. So let's see. Let's see how that goes. I guess Henry should just be running this stream. He's just feeding me all these examples here. All right, let's see what this less crappy roll-up looks like. As if the other one looked bad. Okay, it looks like... No. I love it. Henry, you are not taking over, my friend. I mean, hey, this is your product. I'm happy to be able to say whatever I can. I'm thrilled. That's heck. I should have you on. That really, you should be doing some of these streams. Okay, so we've got this here, Henry. I'm curious why you put this skeleton blend in here. To be honest, I can see that this weight is going to blend between those two, but it doesn't seem to be exactly doing what I would expect. Oh, okay. Maybe that's what we wanted to do, is just to... No. Not sure. I mean, it's cool. It's weird. It's like a weird tentacly thing. Oh, right. I should probably read. Read. That's what I should do, is read. Get the carpet to curl inward so it doesn't overlap itself when the bones rotate. Scale down slightly and then use skeleton blend and world space to convert that scaling to position rotation. This ensures the bone transforms don't actually shrink. Okay. I see. So, okay, so this is to make sure that the bones don't shrink. Got it. I see. Yep. So now it's rotating without thinning. I see. So so basically what Henry's saying here is that if you had it the other way, it was like losing some of its volume as it rolled up, and this way it's not thinning out as it's rolling. So this skeleton blend is basically making sure that we are blending the resulting positions into world space, and we're not. So if we did it this way without this and looked at it, it's going to thin as it rolls up, right? It's thinning down. And so using this skeleton blend makes sure it kind of resets it back into this world space right here. And that's what we're setting it to do here. And that's making sure that we're, not scaling down these bones kind of as we roll it up. So that's what we're doing. So cool. That's what we got. Very nice. Thank you so much, sir. That's looking very good. And I think hopefully now people can understand a little bit of how you might, do something like that. Very cool. Thank you. This one I think is the other one that somebody put in here. So we have some rotation here that's kind of delaying as we're going around. And so I think that what we can do here, let's do I think Labs has a slicer that might work nicely for this. So let's try that out and see if we can't get something to work there. All right. Let's give it a shot. See what we can do. All right. So we've got the less crappy version here. Just discard that because that I'll leave as it is. This is the save this as okay. There we go. Maybe quite a few files in here. And let's do this. Let's do some sliced rotations. I can spell. My brain's working. All right, so let's do some sliced rotations here. So let's just, I guess we'll just grab a box. That's easy enough. We don't need to do anything. Or you know what? Heck, let's do a typography. Let's do that. And let's grab the, yeah, we could probably grab this and use it, right? Right? Sure. All right, so we've got this. Let's do, okay, cool. Let's do an unpack of this because we're going to slice it up. Cool, cool. All right, so I think there's a lab slice, poly slice. Yeah, that seems like what we want. Yeah, that hole's gonna give us some trouble, ain't it? Let's try something here real quick. Let's do a... Hey, Terry, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us. Let's do a remesh here. Oh, no problem. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. Let's see if we can't use... Oh, you know what? I'll just do a divide instead. That's probably better. Let's do a divide. There we go. That's happier. Cool. And then... let's see here. Yeah, that's fine. So what we can do then is we have our slice IDs here, which I think is what we are visualizing. So then we should be able to, let's see here. We just need to make some packed geometry out of those. Let's do an assemble. That should work. Oh, actually it does. No, that's right. There is actually a, there's a MOPs node for that. So if we do a MOPs convert, I believe, should do it for us. We should have 16 packed fragments. Looks good. then we should be able to do, let's do a... Let's do a shape fall off here at first. We can always play around with some more of these, and we'll just have it go left to right. So we'll do this. Oh, right. The preview fall off won't work because these are packed fragments, I believe. So that's a little different. Let's make this scaled down a little bit. So if we do... If we do a MOPs transform modifier here, that's right. It's not capping those. That's annoying. Weird. Cap. Okay, I'm just going to do this here. I'm just going to do a polyfill right here just so we can have some nice caps on those geometries. And we'll make sure we've got triangles here. That should work. MOPs convert. Now we go to a MOPs transform, and there we go. We've got shapes. So if we take something like this here and transform it across. Oh yeah, we're just pointing in the wrong direction here. The modifier, let's just do this as like, do this as 360. And if we take this here and just rotate it to -90, you know, obviously we can see we're starting to get some of that, you know, some of those effects and things like that. And let's click off of that. So there we go. We're starting to transform these. Now, what we probably want them to do is to rotate around the actual origin, right? Like I think that would be better in this case. And in fact, maybe what it would be even more interesting is if we had them rotating, you know, in the kind of this XY plane instead of the other plane. But let's just kind of play with this for a second here. So if we do the MOPs convert, I think there should be, oh, that's right. There's another node that should do the, should change the centroid. Where is that? MOPs pivot, is that right? Yes, I think that's what we want. So MOPs pivot, set pivot to the world, I think is what we want. Let's take a look at that. Oh, right, gotta be down there. Oh, right. So we can't set it to the entire world because that doesn't make sense. How would we do that? How would we do that? Let's see here. Where are these points? Okay. Okay, so probably the best way of doing this would be to actually do a little tiny bit of X here, I bet. Because we can grab the old pivot right here. And then we could set the new pivot based on the old pivot just with 0 in the X. because we needed the pivot points to find where the fall off is affecting them. So, so let's just do this. Let's take this and this. And let's do this here. So I think if we did something like, if we did this, I think, yeah. And then we could do this with a set, I believe, and say, yep, that should work. Okay, so let's do this. So we'll do set old pivot.x 0 old pivot.c. I think this will work. No. Why is that not working? What if I do that previous pivot instead? Because I wonder if that old pivot is something that it's looking for. It's probably what it is. Yep, there we go. That's going to work. So basically what I'm doing here, just using a little bit of X to just basically get the previous pivot, set that as a vector, and then as a vector, yeah, the word is escaping me right now, but I'm setting it, I'm storing it as a value in that vector, and then just pulling the X and the Z, and now those are all perfectly aligned to where they were originally, just all laid on the x-axis, or I'm sorry, on the x-z axis. So I think this should work now. Let's see here. No, gotta go down here to see it. Yep. So now they're all rotating around that center, those center points like that. And so let's see, we could do that, and then I think we could do a MOPs delay on it as well. So we could do a couple different things. We could do, you know, obviously something like this with it, and then you know, change, you know, kind of how this fall off is affecting it, right? So if we did something like this, you know, the longer that you make these fall off, obviously the longer it's going to kind of take to complete itself, right? If we wanted to do something maybe a little bit more, let me get rid of that, a little more like this one is going to be here. I think what we could do is, let's see, actually, I wonder if I can do a sphere on this or something different than just slices like that. Well, we could do a few more of them, I guess. All right, so I think what we'd actually want to do here is we could just do maybe just like a plane effector on these, right? So instead of doing this, we could just do a plane effector, plane fall off, sorry. Plane effector is, that's C4D. So we could just do something like this, right? And we could simply do this animation where we start it 12, like this, 12 frames, maybe go to somewhere here, set this to be 1. So we're going to have it rotate like that. And I think if we do a delay on this, and do that based on its own fall off, so we could just make another fall off here and say, maybe we'll do a shape fall off here. You can call this delay fall off. And this is going to pick up the delay fall off as well. And so now if we have this going in that same direction, which I should have just left it, but that's okay. This will define our fall off. And we should be able to get that. Okay, so right now we only have like a 0.5 second delay in it, right? But what we could do is obviously add quite a bit more to that. We could do something like this where it, you know, just kind of randomly rotates around like that. Could do it even a little longer here. Oh, you know what? I think what I should do actually is let's change this plane fall off so that it's not so long. We'll make it a little bit shorter and make the ramp up to it a little bit stronger. So let's do this. Something like that, where it's really intense and really gonna, I'll just turn this delay off for a second. So it's really gonna kind of like that, something like that. I think that'll be cool. And then let's grab this. All right, so now we're starting to get somewhere with this. If we wanted to, we could certainly, let's make this a little shorter. We don't need it to be 5 seconds. Let's do 2 seconds. You know, something like that. So we're starting to get to this type of a concept here. And really this is just all about the delay of it, right? Like how long it's actually delaying. And so really this is the concept that you would be working with here, right? Where each piece, depending on whether in this one it's going from the center out or left to right, we're basically doing that animation and then allowing that to kind of ramp between these different, you know, kind of versions of this same thing happening, just, you know, slowing it down, adjusting the timing of it. And what we could also do as well is we should be able to also adjust the shape fall off a little bit too if we want to. So we could do a remap on this, and we could control this a little bit as well. So we could do something like, let's just do this. We'll select both of these. We'll change these to B-splines, add a couple more little spots in here. And that should even... Oh, right. We wanted to actually go the other way. Sorry. Maybe like this is how we want this to go. Oh, like this maybe? Let's see. Is that right? Yeah, maybe something more like that is what we'd want it to do. Oops. And then I think what we could do here. Oh, okay. Correct rotations. Got it. Where would that be? Probably in here. MOPs delay. Ah, correct rotations. Got it. Got it. That's what those little glitches were. I gotcha. I gotcha. Thanks, Henry. Right. So if we do, you know, something like that. You can play around with this in a bunch of different ways. So if we had just this plane fall off instead of having the ramp in it, here, like instead of it being a Bezier. Hello? What's going on here? What am I doing? I'm doing the wrong. Oh, my animation thing is up. I'm just just not looking at it. Let's just change this to linear because I think we could actually adjust that with this fall off here as well. So there's a couple different ways you could obviously work these things, right? So yeah, let's see here. I actually think this now would work like this. I think. I might be wrong. Yeah, there we go. So now we're actually getting this, and probably we would still want those that animation here to be Bezier. But it could just be a really small little adjustment there like that. Maybe shorten that up a little. Lots of different ways you could obviously tweak this and play with it and stuff like that. So, something like that would certainly be, a way that you could get those kind of delayed animations using, transform, delay, a couple different fall offs, and kind of layering things together and getting different effects going like that. So obviously there's a ton of different options here and ways that you kind of go about setting this up. And it just really depends on how you have these things sliced, how you have them kind of ordering and rotating and things like that. And, setting up things like where the pivot points are for these. Obviously, in this case, we were kind of at the mercy of how this was sliced up, in its geometry. That's where those excuse me, sorry about that. The places where it's getting sliced and the centers of those pieces are kind of driving where the pivot points are. So you're sort of at the mercy of that. So using something like this MOPs pivot here can really be a way to tweak these pivot points of your pieces, right? Which isn't super easy to do otherwise. So from this sense, we're just setting these pivot locally based on what we're already doing. You can obviously do some really straightforward stuff like centering them, aligning them to the bounding box, things like that. Obviously, in this one scenario, none of those like preset things really worked as best as they could for our situation, but those are all options as well. So hopefully that's making sense. I know it's not exactly the same effect as that one that we saw there, but it certainly is something that you could, we can get. It gets you kind of close to what that would be. And then it's mostly just about slicing it up and getting your geometry set up the right way. I'm just kind of doing this as quickly as I can, right? So, but you could very, very well use something like concentric circles to slice this. You could do that in a, maybe it would be like a Boolean fracture would be what you would use that in, and then just fracture your geometry based on that. There's some different options. Actually, I'm just kind of curious what that would look like, to be honest. Let me see. Trying to think exactly how that would work. Boolean fracture, I think, is what we want. That's the cutting surface. So if we took this and this, what does that do for us here? Let's make this a little smaller. Okay, so if we look at our piece attributes here, no, name, sorry. Okay, yep, those are named. So I wonder if we could do this. Duplicate. And okay, let's start with like 0.2. See if we can't do a few of these here and just Yeah, that could actually kind of work. It's kind of fun. Okay. Let's just see what that does. All right, so we have individual pieces like this. I wonder if we couldn't... yeah, I'm just going to color them based on that. Random from attribute. Could probably just do a connectivity here. Color it based on that. Color it based on the class. Great. Looks good. Let's see. Can we do it this way, actually? Name. I was hoping to kind of get these to all work together as far as which pieces are connected to which thing. Let's see here. What could we do? Just trying to think of how I can get, if there's an easy way to get these, like either side of this, either side of these things to match up. So like each ring is its own like piece, basically, each sliced ring. Because right now, these other sides are actually being their own pieces, right? Not sure. I'm trying to think of the logic there. Sorry for the dead air. Just thinking for a second here. See if I can think of something. What does that do for us? Anything? Nah, that only gives us the cutting, the so what I'm doing there is I'm taking this copy number in this fracture, and it is copying it over. Oh, I could actually promote that. So what I'll do here is I'll do a promote. Trying to come up with something a little here. So we'll do a promote. We'll just get it from primitive to point. We'll take that copy number. That will then copy number come over as a point attribute. We can promote here. We could maybe say like from point to primitive, use maybe the minimum. And then we should have no. No, that doesn't work because they are, yeah, I don't know why that's not working, but it's not doing what I was hoping it would. Okay, that's all right. Well, what you can do here is basically this will convert it like that. We could adjust the pivots. Maybe instead of doing them on the XZ axis, we'll do them in the, let's see, which would we want to zero out? We'd want to zero out the X axis. So we'll zero this out. Oops. Zero this out. And then I'll put them all straight like that. And then if we, oh yeah, actually this will probably work. So what we could do here is we could, instead of doing a plane fall off here, we could actually do this with another MOPs shape fall off. Could do this as a spherical, I think. Maybe set the scale of this down to 0. Not sure exactly how this is going to work. I'm going to turn off the delay stuff for right now. We'll just see how the transform modifier works. And instead of doing it 300, no, let's leave it that way. That might be okay. So let's see how this works. Well, it's sort of doing what we want it to, but not quite. Let's see here. What are we doing that it's not liking? Okay, so what I'll do instead is actually, sorry. We might just be able to do this still. Yeah, I didn't need to reset that, I guess. Yeah, there we go. So we do want it actually to rotate in that axis, right? And we could just leave the plane fall off, I guess, because we're going to do this with a delay. So that should be fine as well. So we should be able to do this, and hopefully, oh, the only thing we'll need is the, we'll want this to be based, well, we'll leave it this way, but let's see if this works. Yeah, so right now it's working left to right, and so that's part of the problem because this delay fall off is the wrong shape. So let's change this to be spherical. We will reset this, and what we can do is we can have the inner radius set to maybe 0. The outer radius, we can adjust that to the limit of that. And I think that'll do it for us. Let's see if that works. Yeah, sort of working. The only thing we want to do is probably remap that the other way. So I'm going to just change that like that. And I'll do this as 1 and this as 0. Let's see if that works. Yeah, there we go. Starting to get somewhere there. We can adjust the delay a little bit. Now, the only thing that does seem to be acting a little funny here is that this outer piece here is, some of these are rotating as well to kind of begin it, but you know, this is just basically getting better attributes to be able to kind of set these pieces up a little bit differently. But we're getting close to it, so I think we'll call that one pretty good from that standpoint there. But it's really just about setting up your attributes a little bit better, which certainly can be done. Wouldn't be the most difficult thing in the world to do, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. Sort of a similar kind of feel to what was going on here. I mean, obviously the rendering is very nice here as well. And this is a very geometrically, kind of symmetrical, shape. So that is nice. You get these weird little like slices and things like that. So obviously I don't have quite as many of these slices, but you can see that more or less the same kind of concept is happening here, where we have parts of it that are rotating first, and then it's kind of transferring that delay down the chain. And what we could do as well is probably do a little, let's see, how would this work? Just curious, just doing this really roughly, if this would, oops. Not sure if that's enough to actually see the end of it, but let's just see here. Yeah, it's pretty close. I'll do 144. So I think the thing here would be just a little bit more time there. Yeah, so I think it's basically just kind of playing around with some of these settings. Let go. B-spline, and let's kind of tweak some of these a little bit. Yeah, so there's a couple different ways that you're able to kind of look at this and kind of do some different slicing and rotation stuff to geometry. I think obviously you can, play with these things as much as you might want. I think this is it's a little simpler setup. It's also a little bit more, easy for me to kind of play with right now with the way that it's slicing and creating those geometries and the IDs and things like that. So we're getting somewhere with it. It's not perfect, but I'll definitely let you guys take a look at this and kind of see some of the things that are happening there. The reason that these ones are moving as well is because their centroids are actually in the exact same spot as these. I think there is also a MOPs. Sorry, I think there's a fall off. Is it MOPs plus? I think there's one with an I where it'll actually see the ID of them and delay it based on those, I think. And I'm forgetting which one it is. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. For some reason, I thought there was an ID one as well. I'm pretty sure there is one. I'm just missing it right now. Oh, another really fun thing that I was playing around with too that I'll just kind of touch on before we close here. We talked about velocity fields just in general on the stream a couple weeks ago. So if you were interested, let's see, sim. This is kind of how you could go about doing some velocity fields. So if you had a sphere, set it in polygon, maybe go to like 6. Turn off point visualizer. So we have the MOPs. This is MOPs Plus. It's a generator for velocity field. What we can do here is we can set up an object fall off, and we can create a point grid here. And what this is going to do is kind of set up a little rig for us here, right? So it's going to set up a volume. We're going to do points from volume. We're going to get the object fall off based on an object coming in. So I'm going to put the sphere in here, right? And so now if we preview the fall off, we can see that we have this fall off based on this object. And let's just make this a little bit bigger here. Like that. Cool. And then what this is going to do is create a velocity field. So we have this in point cloud mode right now. So it's going to be taking in a point cloud here on the first input. And it's going to make velocities based on the gradient of our MOPS fall off, which basically just means that as the fall off changes, it's going to make kind of velocities that follow the changing values, right? So these are all going to be kind of moving towards the surface of our geometry. So if we were to take something like this and I'll just do a pop network, just a simple pop network here. We'll grab, I guess let's just put this over here like this. And we'll grab this velocity. We'll put it into the second input. What you can do is you can visualize this a few different ways as well. You could do a volume, so you could see, kind of in more three-dimensional. We could also up the voxel scale so we don't have quite as many of them, so you can kind of see through a little bit better. But this is outputting a velocity field here. Let's see here. So we might, yeah, that should be fine. Let's check out our pop network here. Let's add a advect by volumes. Put that into our pre-solver here. We could also put it over here, I guess, as well. Doesn't really matter too much. At least it shouldn't. It's kind of just order of operation type of a thing. And let's set this to be our second context geometry. Let's get that back to where it was before. Actually, I had it over here before, so maybe this would be better. Oh, I think I just have it set wrong. Sorry. All right, so it's creating a velocity that's all falling inwards. What we want to do here is, let me think, why is that not working there? Oh, right, because it's set, the fall off is set to inside. So if we set this to surface distance, that should be what we want. Yep, that should do it, I think. Keep everything kind of locked to the surface. So now this will kind of pinch together in certain points, but we can add in a little bit of curl noise here to add to that. And let's see here. Let's see what that's going to look like. So now we're going to start adding a little bit of curl noise in there. We could do this as, sorry, I'm going to change the visualization here so that we've got it like that, but also let's do a plane. And so let's boost up that velocity just a little bit. And we can change the gradient force scale a little bit if we want to, so it's not like sucking it so closely there. And we could also adjust this and change the air resistance down a little bit if we wanted to. So it's going to be a little bit looser. So now you can see we're starting to get some like kind of interesting, little effects here, and, able to tweak this and get some cool kind of surface flow patterns and stuff like that. Obviously, this is just a sphere, so it's not anything overly interesting. But obviously, you could do something like, let's see, we took flip. Or sorry, not flip. It says it's a toy, rubber toy. His name is Flip. And if we just Boolean this, Boolean union this, so it's all one piece. If you've never noticed this before, Flip is actually separate pieces. So if you look at him, he's separate pieces, and that can cause some weirdness. And that's why he's our test geometry. All right, so if we look at this, what did I do here? I think I'm transferring. Hello? I think we've got a weird texture-y thing going on. Oh, it's the shot material path. There we go. Oh, I'm not sure why that's not. Let's see here. Why is that not? Oh, because it's probably outside of the volume definition or something, or it's outside of the volume here. So let's do that. Just make sure he's inside of our volume. There you go. Now we got some curl noise that's operating around the geometry. You can up the curl noise even higher. That's going to obviously inject a lot more noise into your simulation, but it's still going to be, attracted back to the surface, right? So you can do that. You can do a couple other things with this as well, but kind of a nice little way to get some nice simulation, some nice little particle stuff, or maybe you're looking to do some rigids or whatever. You could use this kind of a velocity field for a bunch of different things, but it creates a really nice kind of pleasing effect just to kind of rotate around. And you can obviously blend between this and do different things with your with this velocity field that you've created. So this is sort of similar to what we've talked about before. I think that day I was kind of like, oh, MOPs velocity field, how does this work? And I had no idea how it worked. But I played around with it recently, and I figured, yeah, maybe it would be a good thing to just show real quick. So kind of a nice little setup to be able to create some, velocities for your simulations, and based on different geometry and all that kind of stuff. So you can, pretty easily make some nice organic looking particle effects with something like this. So nice little effect. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here pretty soon. If you guys have any other questions or thoughts or anything like that, always happy to be able to kind of address those before we're done with the stream. Hopefully we've kind of recovered a little from our original kind of rigging debacle there. I'm going to have to go back and watch my rigging courses so that I know how those things work better. But if you have any other questions or anything like that, drop them in chat and we'll address those before we kind of wrap up. I really like this little velocity field thing. It's pretty slick. The other thing that's nice about it too is you can set up these. You can have a background velocity field. You can set up a containment SDF to work with too, so you don't have to use the object fall off for this. But you could still try to contain it to the surface. So you could have things flow in a direction and then have it still keep them kind of roughly attached to the surface. There's a bunch of different ways you can use these velocity fields and things like that. So pretty nice. You can also do this based on, let me turn off the visualization here. I'm sorry. Let me turn up the visuals. How do we turn that off? Interesting. It doesn't look like it wants to turn off. But what we could do, just stop it from animating. What you can do is change the geometry mode, work from a polygonal mesh instead of a point cloud. So you can kind of change the way that it evaluates there. All right. Oh, another thing you could probably do too would be to remap this fall off based on how far you are from the geometry, and make it so that, and it's probably sort of hard to see these colors like this. If I made it gray, might be a little easier to see. But basically what you could do is you could remap these so that certain distances would have maybe, would zero out a certain distance away from the surface. Or you could remap it here so that it would get, maybe you could have it even invert. So it's weaker the closer it gets and stronger the further away you are, things like that. So it has, a little bit more chance to kind of, actually, that might not work because it's going to flow in the direction of it. But I think what you could do is basically raise. I think the amount of kind of gradient, how quick this is changing, is going to determine those velocity fields. So what you could do is kind of play around with this and see how it affects your velocity fields here. In fact, it does look like that's changing it a little bit there already. Yep, you can see right here these field lines are changing. So you could probably do something like that, and it would even change the strength of it a little bit as well. Actually lets some of them fly away a little bit, so could be kind of fun. All right, well, I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat, so I think that is where we will leave it for tonight. Thank you so much to Henry for keeping us on track here. I know sometimes I'm still learning these things and learning exactly some of the logic behind all of this, so Henry has been a huge help. Go support his motion operator stuff, and if you support that, you can jump on, if you're on his, I think you can actually get in the Discord server for free, I think. But go support him. Go pick up a copy of MOPs. It's really super helpful. Try out the free tools, and if you like them, I think you'll find some nice added benefits for the plus tools. Things like that rig unroll is in there, and it's pretty fun to play with, and all the random rig movement stuff and things like that are in there. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Thanks, Henry. Thank you all. And I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. I'll be on the Discord from time to time, but I will have like a little bit of personal vacation in there as well. So other people might respond. If you're interested, you please feel free to use it as well. I'm not the only one that answers things in there. So lots of other people jump in. Henry jumps in from time to time. And yeah. Yeah, of course. I will be putting those up online. You can jump on the Discord server and grab those, and we'll share those out. And if you get if you go into the MOPs downloads, there's tons of example files in there as well, more than I could probably ever set up and go through, and they're very well documented and all that kind of stuff. So check out the Discord link. There is a channel in there where I have the files pinned. If you ever run into any problems with the files, and this is for anybody that is out there, if you run into any issues with that, hop on the Discord, type in there, let me know what's going on. There you go. You can also reach out to Henry as well if you're running into any problems with MOPs, for sure. If you're ever running into problems with my files, please reach out to me, like with all the Houdini Hangout stuff that's happened in the past. Those are all available on the Discord server. Henry has a bunch of example files, tons of files out there. One of the cool things about the Houdini user groups and things like that is that people are so open to giving their stuff out, and knowledge is not something to be hoarded. So yeah, share along. So thanks everybody for joining. I will see you guys all in a couple of weeks, and I think we'll be back at it first with a Houdini Hangout on a Wednesday, and pretty soon we'll be able to talk about some new Houdini 20 features. So that should be pretty fun, and I'm already ready to start talking about some of that stuff. So that should be a lot of fun, and that'll probably be what we'll be getting into come November. So thank you all so much for joining, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.